tale of two halves. Really pleased with the way our guys played, through the first half. I think I told them, I said, we turned the ball over. Maybe we weren't accustomed to getting so many stops and being out in the fast break mode because we either scored or we turned it over. We really were good about defending. We bothered them. We got out in transition, and if we didn't turn it over, we might have scored 50 in the first half. But and then I go in and compliment them and tell them how well I thought they played. And despite the turnovers, I told them there's 98 things out of 100 that you guys did really well that a lot of people won't see out there. The way you guarded the ball, helped, recovered, blocked out, got out and ran, did some really good things. And I said, it's exciting for me as a coach to see that good play, but I want to see it for 40 minutes. And obviously we didn't respond well. So I don't know, these guys, killing these guys with kindness is not something that they seem to respond to. It was a mirror image of Florida State where we come in, turn the ball over twice, they score, 7-point run, here we go again, right back where we are. I think the bright spot in the second half was when they did finally narrow the gap to as close as it got, that our guys did have enough gumption and we did relax enough to make good plays offensively down the stretch. We made 3, 4, 5 good plays in the last, from the 6-minute mark, 7-minute mark to the 2-minute mark when it got a little hairy there. And guys made shots, drove it to the basket, that we did show some poise there, so that was good. But I was disappointed, obviously, with our defense in the second half. And I'm anxious to watch the tape and see what it shows.
Question?
Are you gonna keep Dre on the bench because he keeps producing when you
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just, that's not like some grand scientific plan that worked out. Me motivating him by not starting him. I mean, it's worked out that he's played well. He may start against Charleston, he may not. I like to see how guys practice and how they're playing. But certainly he and Andre played very well tonight. Those two guys really, I thought, were at a high level. Good to see Jure hit both backboards really well, rebounding the ball. And Andre obviously got more shots, which is something I've been trying to get him to do, is find ways to get more shots. And he made shots, and that was good to see. We shot a good percentage, and we just got to keep trying to get better. Just got to get better. Can't have the lulls that we had in the second half. That was disappointing.
How good was it to see Zay make that steal and lay up there? And give you
Really
that
good,
lead?
really good. Happy for him because of, that's one of those scenarios like when you're pressuring and guarding hard, most of the time you're not doing anything except wearing a guy down. And then all of a sudden, a guy's going to give you one. And because you've been wearing on him, they make a lazy pass and you get one and you get a free one out of it. And it happened at a good time for us. But it's the result of, consistent effort, consistent work on pressuring that basketball. And, we rotate some guys through there, Andre, Zay, Corey, they all kind of take turns because it's too much of a job for any one guy to do. And it was really good for that to happen tonight.
With Andre, that's a career high. Do you think he's capable of this kind of an effort consistently?
I do. I mean, I think Andre's a good player. I think there's no question at times he's going to have some trouble getting some things off. His size is going to work against him, but I do think Andre is a guy who can make shots and who plays the game, in a way that it should be played. Even sometimes he could be a little looser and a little more carefree than I would like. I mean, he's almost got the top button all the way up all the time. I mean, he's like wants to do the right thing so much, and he's very much a pleaser, and he could loosen that top button every once in a while and go make some more plays and be aggressive and not play like he's afraid to make a mistake. I just want him to continue to, but that's a little bit of a kid's personality. Some kids are more that way, some kids are more the other. Most kids these days are more the other, and you're trying to get them to play with their all buttons up, just to get them to understand what they do well and play to that role. Andre doesn't give himself enough credit for being a shot maker. We're trying to get Andre to do more things now where he shoots on the move, where he's being screened for when he's running off a baseline screen, and he's got to be able to catch it and shoot it on a move, or he's got to attack it after he catches it. Because good players, you can't just stand outside. Like, unless you have Trevor Booker in there and they double and you're going to get it swung to you and shoot standstill threes, you're going to have to score in other ways. You're going to have to score on the move. We've really got to get more guys that can score on the move. Develop that.
Coach, twice they cut it within 2, and I think both times. One time you get a 3-point shot from Tanner, and I think the other time you get a 3-point play inside. So, I mean,
those are big baskets, and that's what I'm talking about. For us to capitalize on those scenarios and make big plays. I was proud of our guys. That's a big shot for Tanner to make. A guy who's been a little streaky with his outside shot, but for him to have the courage to just shoot that after having missed some other ones earlier in the game, he needs that. And we've got some guys that are logging a lot of minutes, and it's hard for them to play as many minutes as they're playing and play well all the time. Some of them are playing too much. But there were some nice finishes by us offensively late that was good to see. The positive of our poor defense was that we did have to make some plays under pressure, and we did.
how much pressure do you think that puts your kids on to watch a 21-point lead go down to 2 against a team that hadn't won a ball game? Their home court.
No, it has nothing to do with them not having won a game. I mean, I think they clearly showed tonight that they're much better than 0-10 or whatever their record is. They've just played a murderous schedule. I mean, I don't know where they are in their league or where they'll finish in their league. There's probably some teams that are more talented, but that's a team that's improving. That's a team that now has played 5 or 6 ACC teams. So the awe factor of playing an ACC team it's not there at all anymore. In their last couple of games, they've played better against some of those teams. And we had a chance to really step on them and really make it. Like if we just, what our guys don't understand is if we can just go out and play well the first 5 or 6 minutes of the second half, we're going to win by 25. But by giving them spirit, by giving them some positive energy, we knew that it was going to come down to a closer game. And I don't know if any of us felt like it would get all the way to 2, but it did. And that's to their credit. They did make some tough shots, too, in the second half.
When you're trying to get Jure and Andre to be more assertive and aggressive, how much harder does it make it for them to be that when they're learning a new offense? And how much of a factor is that?
A little bit. It is a small factor. It's a small factor because they're still not 100% sure where everything's coming from. But so that's a little bit of a factor. But I think the more significant factor is when you just haven't been that way for 2 or 3 years, it's hard to just turn that way. I mean, you kind of are a guy that you grew up that way, you're that way all the time, or you're kind of a guy that's a little bit that way, but not really. And I don't suspect, I can't imagine, I don't have any idea what Jure scored in high school, but I bet he wasn't a 20-point scorer in high school. And I'm sure Andre, because of his shooting ability, probably scored more. But that part of it, I think, is different. It's a mentality that you have. Like sometimes when you're going out to recruit, you want kids, you just need guys that can score. Like they need a mentality. Like even if it takes them a lot of shot, you want a couple guys that are like scoring mentality, forget everything else. They think about shooting the ball. They think about going and making plays. And you kind of live with some of their other ails. And then sometimes you're looking for guys that, hey, we need a kid who's just really tough. We need a guy that's going to compete on the boards. We need a guy that can stop the other team's best player. Maybe he can't score at all, but we need a guy like that. So you kind of got to mix and match and put your team together accordingly. These are 2 guys that I think have some ability and are becoming guys who are feeling more like they can really score. And I think they're getting used to the offense, and they're looking around saying, hey, if it's not DeMontez, it better be us.
Well, guys, you've had a kind of a tough stretch these first 2 months. What does it mean to get some momentum? I mean, get these 2 wins and build some
Well, we
momentum?
had good momentum early. I mean, we beat a good Wofford team here, and we beat Western, and the Virgin Island trip was reasonably productive. I mean, we won 2 out of 3 games and lost to a team that's pretty good and had the ball to win in a possession. So it wasn't like we didn't have any momentum at all. Obviously, the negative has been these last 3. The 3 previous where we got in a little bit of a rut. We just couldn't find a way to win. It does help. Winning helps, makes you feel better, makes coming to practice during this time of year a little bit better. But one of the reasons why we've played better defense and played better the last 2 games is we've had 4 days to practice. and we've gotten a little bit better in some areas. For whatever reason, we lacked a little defensive discipline in the second half, and again, like I said, I'm anxious to watch the film to see exactly what happened. I know we had transition errors, which was reminiscent of Michigan in the second half, and we've been working on that religiously. That's something that's not coming as easy for us as I would like. And then the turnovers cost us some for some easy baskets. But it's good to have some positive momentum heading into where we're going to go play, which is a tough Charleston team.
Where is Devin right now mentally, do you think?
Oh, I think he's fine. I mean, he's had good games, some good games, some poor games. He gets himself into some foul trouble, and that throws off some things. He's got to continue to stay the course. He's got to mentally be into it all the time. He's got to mentally be into it, because when he's a half step late and you're a big guy, they foul. They call for fouls, and he takes himself out of the game, so it becomes more difficult to get a rhythm. And he didn't have a good one tonight, but that has no bearing on what he'll do next week.
All right. Thank you, Coach.